Hi, it's Lynette with Mill Creek Kids. Welcome. We're so glad you've joined us online. Today we've got some great worship planned. We've got a Bible story, we've got our memory verse, and stick around for everybody's favorite craft corner.
I'm reading my B-I-B-L-E, and this is what it says to me. It tells me that I'm never ever alone. I'm learning how Jesus came down to us and gave his best. Without a doubt, the best friend you'll ever know. Our God knows exactly what I need, so I remember this. Let's go! When you ask, he cares. When you seek, he's there. When you knock, 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 God opens up the door. When you ask, he cares. When you seek, he's there. When you knock, 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 God opens up the door. Oh, oh. I'm reading my B-I-B-L-E, and this is what it says to me. It tells me that I'm never ever alone. I'm learning how Jesus came down to us and gave his best. Without a doubt, the best friend you'll ever know. Our God knows exactly what I need, so I remember this. Let's go! When you ask, he cares. When you seek, he's there. When you knock, 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 God opens up the door. When you ask, he cares. When you seek, he's there. When you knock, 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 God opens up the door. Oh, oh. When you ask, he cares. When you seek, he's there. When you knock, 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 God opens up the door. When you ask, he cares. When you seek, he's there. When you knock, 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 God opens up the door. Exactly what I need, so I remember this. Let's go! When you ask, he cares. When you seek, he's there. When you knock, 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 God opens up the door. When you ask, he cares. When you seek, he's there. When you knock, 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 God opens up the door. You opened up the door. You opened up the door. Oh,
When the king of Egypt heard that the Israelites had finally left, he and his officials changed their minds and said, "Look what we have done! We have let them get away, and they will no longer be our slaves!" The king got his war chariot and army ready. He commanded his officers in charge of his 600 best chariots and all his other chariots to start after the Israelites. The Lord made the king so stubborn that he went after them, even though the Israelites proudly went on their way. But the king's horses and chariots and soldiers caught up with them while they were camping by the Red Sea near Pi-hahiroth and Baal-zephon. When the Israelites saw the king coming with his army, they were frightened and begged the Lord for help. They also complained to Moses.
"Wasn't there enough room in Egypt to bury us? Is that why you brought us out here to die in the desert? Why did you bring us out of Egypt anyway? While we were there, didn't we tell you to leave us alone? We'd rather be slaves in Egypt than die in this desert."
But Moses answered, "Don't be afraid. Be brave, and you will see the Lord save you today. These Egyptians will never bother you again. The Lord will fight for you, and you won't have to do a thing." The Lord said to Moses, "Why do you keep calling out to me for help? Tell the Israelites to move forward, then hold your walking stick over the sea. The water will open up and make a road where they can walk through on dry ground. I will make the Egyptians so stubborn that they will go after you. Then I will be praised because of what happens to the king and his chariots and cavalry. The Egyptians will know for sure that I am the Lord." All this time, God's angel had gone ahead of Israel's army, but now he moved behind them. A large cloud had also gone ahead of them, but now it moved between the Egyptians and the Israelites. The cloud gave light to the Israelites, but made it dark for the Egyptians, and during the night they could not come any closer. Moses stretched his arm over the sea, and the Lord sent a strong east wind that blew all night until there was dry land where the water had been. The sea opened up, and the Israelites walked through on dry land with a wall of water on each side. The Egyptian chariots and cavalry went after them, but before daylight, the Lord looked down at the Egyptian army from the fiery cloud and made them panic. The chariot wheels got stuck, and it was hard for them to move. So the Egyptians said to one another, "Let's leave these people alone. The Lord is on their side and is fighting against us." The Lord told Moses, "Stretch out your arm toward the sea. The water will cover the Egyptians and their cavalry and chariots." Moses stretched out his arm, and at daybreak the water rushed toward the Egyptians. They tried to run away, but the Lord drowned them in the sea. The water came and covered the chariots and cavalry and the whole Egyptian army that had followed the Israelites into the sea. Not one of them was left alive. But the sea had made a wall of water on each side of the Israelites, so they walked through on dry land. On that day, they knew that the Lord had saved them. Because of the mighty power he had used against the Egyptians, the Israelites worshipped him and trusted him and his servant Moses.
Okay, so we're getting to that point in the story where it starts getting really exciting. The Israelites have been left. The Pharaoh says, "Take your people and get out of here," because he's tired of what's been happening with all the plagues. So they take off, but after they're gone, all of a sudden he began to realize, one of his advisors was like, "Do you realize what you just let go?" And he's like, "Oh no, let's go get him back." So he sent his whole army. So here you are, out in the wilderness, you turn around, and there's the army of Pharaoh coming at you with all their chariots and all the scariness going on there, and you look ahead of you, and there is this big Red Sea. It's huge, there's water. You're looking around going, where do you go? And I'm sure that they were afraid. I know I would be afraid. I'd be like, what's gonna happen to me? You brought me out of Egypt, and now I'm gonna die either by going into the river or the people behind me. But instead, God made a way. He opened a way. And what that tells us is that when we are scared, when we're afraid, God is with us and he'll never leave us. There's a verse in the Bible that I love where it says that though people will forsake us, God will never leave us. And that's the truth. So when you're afraid and when you're scared, just remember, God is on your side and God's got you.
It's time for our memory verse. Read along with me. For God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. 2 Timothy 1:7. Let's try it again. For God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. 2 Timothy 1:7. It's getting a little harder now. For God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. Keep practicing. We'll be doing this again next week.
Welcome to Craft Corner. Here we are again, and we just learned about the awesome story of when Moses goes to the Red Sea and all the children of Israel are behind him, and he prays to God, like, what do I do? And what does God tell him to do? He tells him to take his staff and to put it right in the water, and then whoosh, the waters opened up and the people walked out onto the dry land that was once the bottom of the sea. Wow. Very dramatic story.
Exactly.
Yes, and if you asked your parents to show you Charlton Heston on TV doing this, it's the most amazing movie ever. Epic. Okay, so you're going to download, there's two pieces of paper, one that looks like this and one that has these two waves on it, this one and this one. And you're going to cut these out, you're going to cut that circle out, you're going to cut out these waves, and then you're going to get a regular old everyday paper plate, and you're going to transform this into your own Red Sea.
That's pretty awesome.
Action-packed, adventurous craft. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to color your items. Well, at least this piece. And then you're going to go ahead and cut it out and put it right in the middle of your plate. And then what I did is I kind of positioned my waves to be right on my plate in a way that when I... Marsha, you got an idea of how it works.
Well, I kind of sort of put mine on my plate before you glued on my Moses. So
That's not the
I'm
end
doing
of
it a
the
little
world.
backwards.
That's
Okay.
all right. That's
So here
all
we
right.
go. I've got my Moses in the center. And then I've got it so that they will close over the sea, and it looks like he's just standing in front of a whole lot of waters. And then he, like Lynette says, put a staff in and poof, out it goes, and it parts it for the Israelites to walk through.
Oh, that looks so much fun.
And it says, I can be brave because God is with me. Because I think to myself, if you're walking through the Red Sea, it said that the ground was dry. I think that's
know.
pretty amazing. That, 'cause have you
Yes.
ever gone to the lake and gotten in the lake and it's all goopy? But yet it was. And can you imagine walking by and seeing the waves on either side of you? 'Cause you
No.
That would be pretty scary.
No.
But
That would be
they believed
awesome.
them and knew they could be brave because they knew that God had just done that.
Yes.
I mean, it'd be pretty easy to do that if you knew God just did it.
Yes. So let's reenact.
Okay, reenact it, everybody. Get ready. Okay.
What do we do? We're at the ocean and the army's coming! And then Moses says, we shall pass.
That's right.
And then
Poof. There we are. So much fun.
you could just, have you ever seen the one, there's one where you can like see the water on the side and see like a big fish swimming by. Can you imagine? Because the fish were still in the water.
Yeah, they were. That's true.
It was like a big wall of water.
Pretty awesome.
Massively amazing.
Our God does amazing things.
Yes, and who could ever forget this?
No. In fact, on the other side, they built a monument.
So they
To remind
would
them.
never forget.
Exactly.
To help them remember the good things that God does.
Exactly. So have fun with this craft. Have fun reenacting it, and we'll see you next time.